Lil Yachty is public enemy number one right now after his interview with Bootleg Cab. During the interview, he talked about how the rap old heads, or like the old school rap old heads, how they canceled him back in 2017 and how he regretted how apologetic he was during the cancellation. And if he had to redo it, he would do things all over again because he feels like he was actually right. Now, if you guys forgot why they canceled him back in 2017, they canceled Lil Yachty because Lil Yachty would do interviews where he would say things like, oh, Tupac is boring and Biggie is overrated.
It's overrated. I don't know. I've never listened. I'm not going to say I've never listened.
Cold like Minnesota.
I've like heard like the stuff, his stuff in movies and stuff. I grew up very sheltered. I can't.
And they playing some 90s sitcom rock too.
Say the same for him. I can't say the same.
That should sound like a white daughter about to come down the steps. She got dropped off from a date or something, or she about to go on a date. Listen to the music.
Movies and stuff. I grew up very sheltered. I can't say the same for him. I can't say the same for him.
Boy situation happened, and then they.
A lot of the younger dudes have a completely different background and upbringing than some of the legacy. They got a different background. They mother had a good job. You know, they weren't in the projects. They never had a syrup sandwich. They didn't live through the crack 80s. They don't understand that stuff. This is new territory for them. And to them, Brenda's got a baby sounds whack. Brenda!
Ask you about the Notorious B.I.G. and you're
honest.
That was
actually before, technically, but
no, that was before. But but timeline wise, it came out after, right? So I ask you about the Notorious B.I.G. and then you're just like, yeah, he's overrated to me. You know what I mean? Right. And then that happened, and then
that was crazy.
That was crazy, right? Yeah, because then people take it very personal when it comes to Biggie. And
at the time, I wasn't really, understanding that, but now I'm at a point where I understand. It's a lot serious. To specific people, because it's just like, I don't know, he's just one of those subjects that just like,
it's touchy, dog. Him and Pac, it's touchy, it's emotional. People are invested.
Exactly. And, I'm from a new generation where I just wasn't as emotionally connected, but I'm at a point now in life where I understand it.
Yeah.
And I respect it, and so.
And that's true too. You learn things as you go along. You gotta consider this is a kid. Hell no. And plus the kids used to listen to computer voices. All the rappers for the most part got a computer voice. You know what I mean? Auto-tune or some kind of transformer type sound or something. That's what they like. They was like, these niggas don't got no computer voices. This is bullshit.
You learn from it.
Exactly.
I always thought the backlash that Lil Yachty was getting for what he said about Tupac and Biggie was kind of like nonsense from my perspective, because Lil Yachty was 19 years old in 2017. Lil Yachty was in IEP classes his entire education.
Nas was 16 when he wrote Live at the Barbecue.
Disciple, my raps are trifle. I shoot slugs from my brain just like a rifle.
I'm just saying.
Right? And from kindergarten to high school, Lil Yachty was in IEP classes with 4 kids. Lil Yachty was not listening to Tupac. Lil Yachty at that time probably couldn't even understand or comprehend what Tupac was saying. Right? Now again, Lil Yachty has taken leaps in growth, and Lil Yachty right now is like a normal functioning adult who's really smart. But at the time, Lil Yachty was this dumb kid who could barely articulate or say a sentence.
Hold on, what you trying to say? Lil Yachty was he was that, and then he grew out of it. They trying to say he wasn't regular at first, and now he got better. I didn't know you can heal that shit. He got healed. Let me look this shit up. Is Lil Yachty you can't say that. Is special. Special ed. I don't know. I can't find out right now to say whether, what's up with him. If he regular or not. But even if he was in them classes, a lot of people was in those classes and they was regular. They just couldn't calm down. Some people like that. They got a lot of energy and stuff. He doesn't strike me as that way. Maybe he needed to speed up. I don't know what his problem was. But that's what Flacco's saying. So that's Flacco's analysis. He says that Lil Yachty was he was not regular, but now he is.
Of course he wasn't listening to Biggie or Pac. So I never understood the backlash because, you would expect that coming from people like Lil Yachty. But Lil Yachty got a lot of backlash. As you can see, he was pretty apologetic. He says, he understands it now. He didn't understand it then. But he kind of had to say it because Lil Yachty was treated like public enemy number one. I remember his Breakfast Club interview where Charlamagne the God tells him that he's literally the face of whack rappers. Like, he's like the poster child for whack rappers right now because that's how they treated him. Like, all the old head, super rappers, right? They had multiple diss records towards Lil Yachty. They had multiple disses towards Yachty. I think at some point, Diddy dissed Lil Yachty.
Then pitch it and then kind of just like punch in.
Yeah.
Diddy need to shut up. Everybody that used to diss back in the day, it's like, nigga, you was for real, you got some goddamn nerve. Especially if they knew, because they said a lot of stuff that Diddy was doing was like not a secret. You know what I mean? Like, he hadn't been charged with anything and all that other stuff like that. But they said it was not a secret. Like, people knew about Diddy. How you taking the Diddy? Well, they also said Diddy was a big old gangster on the low. On the low, quietly he was. Anyway, let me go back to this.
For the most part, I write a lot too.
Mm-hmm. Now, you said Drake was better than Biggie and Tupac, right? One time.
No, I never said that.
What did you say?
I recorded that. I didn't say nothing. I held the phone and recorded my friends arguing with my manager and Cody Shane's mother.
What do you think about Hov?
I never cared about that.
I think Jay-Z is one of the smartest artists, along with P. Diddy.
Mm-hmm. And nice guys too.
I think P. Diddy hates me.
Why?
Because it was bigger remarks. I haven't spoken to him though. I remember he posted a video on the internet talking about new rappers. I just felt like he was targeted straight at me.
Oh, he said that thing. But
yeah.
see, that's you. That's you being in your own head. Because like I told you earlier, you are the poster child
exactly
for whack rappers. If they want to say somebody whack, they say you.
Damn, he's reached that status. We used to have that back in the days. That's when it used to be Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer. Which I look at both of them differently now, but back in the days, that's what the culture said is boo, boo.
No. It happens every few years. It was Trinidad James at one point.
Whoa, that's what I'm in.
Yes, perception wise.
But we in two different lanes, man. Trinidad James. I feel like to even say that I took his spot, like he was there, then I stepped in at Trinidad.
Don't get me wrong. I think Lil Yachty's opinion on Tupac and Biggie was absolutely wrong, right? It was just disastrously wrong. But he was a kid at that time, right? He was a child, so you kind of expect dumb things like that from him. I do kind of feel like the treatment he received was a tad bit unfair. Well, Lil Yachty was on Bootleg Kev podcast earlier this week, and he was speaking about those times. And he take back all the apology, all the PR thing he did.
Take it back.
Because now he's standing on it. Now, he didn't say Tupac and Biggie specifically, but he speaks on that particular era.
Yo, you came out of the SoundCloud era that is it's historically important because we got so many incredible artists, but also there was so much crazy bullshit that kind of came out of that era as well.
But every era, so funny. I remember when I went to do my research on just like the music that came before me. It was a lot of bullshit that came out of the 90s.
That's fair.
A lot of bullshit that came out in the fucking 80s and early 2000s. But they act like only the 2016 and up.
I just think it was a little more. I think it was a little more. It was a little more elevated.
Sure,
the amounts of bullshit,
but not all of it.
No, you're right.
There's some stuff out there but it's so crazy. I remember in 2016, before I did my research, I didn't know this. If it was 2016 and I knew it was so much bullshit in the 90s, I'd be like, yo, y'all fucking tripping. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of weak ass shit going on out there. And just to be, and matter of fact, actually, you know what's so crazy to me? I think about all the time. I always think about the first song. Hip hop. I hope this don't fry me. He probably will. And I always think about a hip, a hop, a hip.
Rapper's Delight.
You know what I'm saying? And I be thinking like, damn, bro, y'all be really acting like we just just couldn't. Like we was the only niggas saying some shit that didn't make no sense.
That dropped in 1979. What followed that was not bullshit. Like that was not the consensus, right?
That was the beginning of rap. That was like motherfuckers standing upright for the first time. Like, what do you want? Motherfucker had to discover fire. You told we take everything we got around us for granted. I'm on a computer, on the internet, surfing here and there. Somebody had to discover fire. How long would it have taken you to discover fire? If you was dropped on the earth with nothing, butt ass naked and cold, you never even heard of fire. You only seen it every now and then when there was a lightning strike, or maybe you live next to a fucking volcano. When you gonna figure out how to use fire? How to produce fire? Shit, right now, nigga. If you're not a wilderness man, if I put you in the wilderness, how long is it gonna take you to start a fire? My point is, you can't diss Sugar Hill Gang and Hip, the Hop, the Hippie. They were setting the rules. They were lining up the very first basketball court, nigga. This is called, it was literally saying the name of what it is. A hip, a hop. You can't diss that shit. That's the very beginning. We're not respecting evolution, and that is the beef. The beef is the shit y'all doing is not evolution. Y'all might as well be going the hip, the hop, the hibbit. It's the same shit, nigga. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up.
Oh, that era probably had a lot of BS. If you probably go back to like the early 80s, you'll probably hear a lot of BS. But there was a lot of legendary stuff coming out of it, right? So all in all, now if Lil Yachty is saying, yo, all eras had BS, had some BS, but y'all just hyper-focus on 2016, 2017, 2018, I agree. But I do feel like...
I would go further to say, in that early era, nobody was BS. Nobody. They the first people. If the first two dudes played basketball, neither one of them sucked. That's all I gotta say. Because nobody else don't even know what this shit is. You know, you get older, you find yourself like you're a guest in hip hop. You know what I mean? You're here, but you don't have no say so. You don't really got no say so. Anyway, they was giving Lil Yachty a hard time. They've always given Lil Yachty a hard time. This nigga sucks. Well, so I believe. I believe he sucks. Apparently, the youth said he don't suck. So who the fuck am I? That's what I think a lot of the legacy hip hop media people do not get is that this is a young man's sport. It's youth culture. You can't tell these little niggas what's hot and what's not. That's the opposite of hip hop. Anyway, let's hear this perspective. I don't know how I feel about Lil Yachty. I'm gonna give it real with you. I know Colec, Minnesota, and I heard him on a couple other records, and it makes me want to turn it off. His voice to me sound like you ever heard a dog? You ever step on a dog toy? That shit, that kind of thing. They don't sound like Lil Yachty, y'all. They don't say, "Call like Minnesota." Today has been a terrible day for Lil Yachty.